All right, so now I am knitting the front of the inspired Fortnite Choice Emote sweater. I finished doing the rib part the other day, and I have the video already posted. So on how to do this on YouTube. So you can check that out, and the link will be posted down below when I post it on YouTube. All right, so I started this the other day. I finished the rib part of it, and I'm going to go ahead and start knitting up the front. Now, this is going to be a test pattern because I started it a few years ago. There's going to be adjustments. So my plan is once this is all done, I'm going to block everything, and then I'm going to put everything together, and then I'm going to figure out what adjustments need to be done. Already my neckline is going to need to be adjusted, and my sleeves are a little tight, so those will need to be adjusted. And then I'll knit that up, stream that, and post it to YouTube, which this could be on YouTube right now. But I will stream it on Twitch and post it, the rest of it, up to YouTube once I do those changes. But right now, let's get back into the swing of doing it. This is going to be the llama. So let's get started on knitting. All right, so let's get started. All right, what am I doing first?
Knit across.
All right, so we're going to go ahead. All we're doing right now is working on the red portion, and we're going to knit all the way across. We are on row 18, and we're going to purl across. Just go ahead and purl all the way across. We're on row 19, and we're knitting across. All right. Now we're on row 20, and we're going to purl all the way across. So we're on row 21. I'm going to go ahead and knit. So we're going to knit 2. We're going to knit front and back. And then I'm going to knit down until there's 3 stitches left. We are down to the last 3 stitches. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to knit front and back, and then we'll knit the last 2 stitches. So we're out on row 22, and we're going to purl all the way across. We're on row 23. Now we need to knit across, and we have 114 stitches. All right, so I'm on row 24, and I'm going to go ahead and purl across. All right, so we're on the last purl stitch. All right, it's coming along nicely. All right, I'm on row 25. I'm going to knit across. All right, we finished knitting across. All right, so I'm on row 26 and I'm going to purl across. All right, so we are on our last few stitches on the purl side. All right, so we just finished purling that row. We're on row 27. We're going to go ahead and knit. Row 27, we're knitting. All right, we finished knitting that row. We are on row 28. We're going to go ahead and purl. All right, we are done our purl row. Okay. As you can see, the sweater is coming along. Stocking it. All right, I'm on row 29. I now need to add white into my knitting. Okay, we're on row 29. We're going to knit 5 red. We're going to add our white. We're going to knit 5 white. Bring the red over. I'm going to knit 2 red. We're going to do 11 white and float the red. For red, float the white. 5 white, float the red. We're going to knit 2 red. We're going to knit 11 white, float the red. We're going to do 26 red and we're going to float the white. And 26. All right, we're going to go ahead and knit 5 white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to knit 2 red. We're going to knit 11 white and we're going to float the red. 11 white, float the red. We're going to do 4 red, float the white. We are going to knit 5 white, we are going to knit 2 red, we are going to knit 11 white, float the red, we're going to knit the last 3 red. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to purl 3 red, we're going to purl 11 white, float the red, two red, we're purling 5 white, purling 4 red, purling 11 white, float the red, we're purling 2 red, we're purling 5 white, float the red, we're purling 10 red, float the white, we're purling 3 white, purling 13 red, floating the white, we're purling 11 white, float the red, purling 2 red, purling 5 white, float the red, we're purling 4 red, float the white, purling 11 white, float the red, purling 2 red, we're purling 5 white, float the red, purling 5 red. All right, so we're right here near the bottom of the lava. All right, let's continue. So we are now on row 31 and we are knitting. We're knitting 2 red. We are knitting the front and the back. We're knitting 9 red, float the white. We are knitting 2 white. We are knitting 20 red and we're going to float the white. All right, we just did 20 red, we floated the white. Now we're doing 2 white. Now we're going to knit 19 red and float the white. We're knitting 4 white, float the red. All right, so now we're adding 1 blue. All right, so we're going to go ahead, knit 4 white. We're going to float a couple of stitches of the blue and floating the red. So we're going to knit 4 white, float the red and blue. The blue only gets floated a couple of stitches. We're going to knit 14 red, float the white. Keep the blue there. We're going to knit 2 white. We're going to knit 20 red and float the white. Two white. 9 red, keep the white here. We're going to knit the front and the back. And then knit the last 2. We are on row 32 and we're purling. We're going to purl 13 red. Purling 2 white. We're purling 20 red, float the white. We're going to purl 2 white. We're going to purl 12 red, float the white. Three white into blue. 1, 2, 3, 2 blue. We're going to purl 1 white. We're going to purl 4 blue. 4 white into red, float 3 stitches of the blue. We're going to purl 16 red, float the white, leave the blue. We're going to purl 2 white, we're going to purl 20 red, float the white. We're going to purl 2 white, we're going to purl 13 red, float the white 10. There's where we're starting the llama. We are on row 33. We're going to knit 4 red, we're going to knit 11 white, float the red. We're going to knit 2 red. We're going to knit 5 white, float the red. We're going to knit 4 red, float the white. I knit 11 white, float the red. Gonna knit 2 red. Gonna knit 5 white, float the red. We're gonna knit 5 red, float the white. Okay, we're going to knit 4 white into blue, float the red, 4 white into blue, float the red. Seven blue into white, float the red. Float the white. One white. 4 blue. We are knitting 4 blue. Float the red and the white. We're going to knit 3 white into red, float the blue 3 stitches. We're going to knit 4 red, We're going to knit 9 white, float the red. We're going to knit 2 red. We're going to knit 5 white, float the red. Going to knit 4 red, float the white. We're going to knit 11 white, float the red. We're going to knit 2 red. Going to knit 5 white, float the red. We're going to knit 6 red. We are purling row 34. I'm going to purl 6 red. Float the white. We're going to purl 5 white, float the red. We're going to purl 2 red. Purl 11 white, float the red. We're going to purl 4 red, float the white. Purl 5 white, float the red. Purl 2 red. Purl 9 white, float the red. Purl 1 red. Purling 3 white into blue, float the red. Purling 7 blue while we're floating white and red. One white, float the red. We're purling 9 blue into white, float the red. So we're purling 3 white, float the blue 3, and float the red. Purling 4 red, float the white. We're purling 5 white, float the red. Purling 2 red. Purling 11 white. Float the red. All right, so we are purling 4 red and we're floating the white. 3, float, 4 red. We're going to purl 5 white, float the red. We're going to purl 2 red. We're going to purl 11 white, float the red. So the last 4 stitches we're purling 4. So as you can see, I am starting the llama like on the sweater for the Fortnite choice emote sweater. Okay. So far I have this much of the front. I have this part posted on YouTube. Go ahead and look at how to knit on my YouTube channel, TLK Knitting. And for more videos, I will post when I can to get caught up on the front. But the front is going to be a little longer because I have to edit all this. All right, everyone. Peace out.